All right, Sean, we've done a number of videos on the correct downswing sequence, right? Very important. There's also a backswing sequence that's equally as important.
Yeah, maybe even more important.
Yeah.
Because if you don't get this one right, the downswing's not going to be right.
It's going to make the downswing much more difficult. So we're going to take a look at some of the most common questions we get regarding backswing sequence. And of course, we're going to share with you some drills on how you can tune that up. All right, Sean, we get a lot of emails, a lot of DMs about this topic, right? A lot of golfers want to know, like, what starts the backswing? And we can go really detailed on that with the information we have with swing catalysts and gears, or we can get kind of more generalized, simplistic, actually putting it into practice. I don't think in some cases it's very helpful to know that 3% left foot pressure increases before it starts if you don't have any way of measuring it.
No, yeah, just feelings and generalized kind of what you need to be doing is real helpful when you're on the driving range too.
Absolutely.
So let's take the big picture view for a minute. We're talking about backswing sequence.
Right.
So Mike and I have been talking about this at lunch, and it's important to know that, you know, at the top of the backswing, things generally are arriving at the finish of the backswing at the same time. Correct.
Yeah, there's certainly a downswing
window.
Sequence.
Yeah.
But the timing of that is very tight. Now, the pressure shifts.
Yeah.
And we're talking rotation.
Rotation.
Right. Laterally, there's movement happening and all that, but rotationally speaking, things kind of get there along with the club at pretty close to the same time.
Yeah. So, you know, you hear run off, which would be all the body turn and the arms start running off. So with that in mind, there's something I want you to think about, right? So let's take my hips, my trunk, my arms, and my club.
Okay.
Okay. The hips, they don't have, let's talk about my belt buckle.
Okay.
It maybe moves 4 inches.
Sure.
Okay. Let's talk about my trunk. Let's say the trunk moves, call it 8 inches.
Okay.
Whatever, for all intents and purposes, just, it moves twice as far.
Sure.
My arms, maybe 6 feet.
Right.
The club, maybe 10 feet.
Right.
The end of the club. So if they all have to arrive at the top at a similar time, they can't all move at the same rate.
That's right.
And at the exact same time, right?
Right.
But we need
the same acceleration.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So with that in mind, I think a lot of people get off track right away in the takeaway by thinking, okay, a one-piece takeaway, I'm just going to turn everything together right at the same rate and just kind of keep my arms where they are.
And if we do that, start over again. So if we do kind of a, let me get our pole here, easy to see. So if we do kind of a, go ahead and set up again. I'll let this be our, down the line for him, I'll let this be our swing plane. So it's kind of right there, elbow plane kind of move. If you do a one-piece takeaway, what we see most golfers do is they go crashing underneath that plane.
Yeah, now remember, things are moving here, but I need my arms to get up here.
Right.
So if I move them too far in this direction, I've also destroyed the sequence in a way because they're going to be late.
You've destroyed the sequence, you've really ruined the ability to get to the top at roughly the same time. Yeah,
because if the arms are traveling here, but they're not traveling in the right direction.
Right.
So now
That's exactly right.
They got to lift late. So lift late, that destroys the sequence.
So if you've got to, you're in your house, you're on your couch, your neighbor needs you down the street, right? One neighbor needs you 4 blocks away, one neighbor needs you a mile away, right? You can afford, they all need you there at 6 o'clock, it's 5 o'clock. You can afford to leave at different times to arrive at the same time. You with me?
I think so.
Okay.
Okay.
The neighbor next door takes a shorter amount of time.
Got it.
Not as much acceleration. The guy a mile away, we've got to get moving quicker.
Got it. Yep. 100% right. So that's why a lot of these videos we talk about getting the club head moving early.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that you're keeping your lower body still and then cranking your lower body late. Everything is moving, but you need to get the club swinging at a pace that gets the arms to arrive at the top as the body is finishing moving. That's why you see a lot of guys with slow backswings finish their turn and they lurch and lift their arms late.
It's actually literally one of the questions we get is, okay, what needs to move first and what muscle makes that happen? And I'm thinking, you know, you're looking at it the wrong way. It's like they all need to be moving right off the bat. It's at what rate of speed are they moving?
It's the speed and the rates.
Yes, absolutely.
It's getting the club head. I see way too many slow backswings in this part of the swing than I do ones with you see some with too fast, but a lot of times I see the slow one where they finish their turn early and lift, right?
And it's really one of the ways to differentiate. If you're looking at a group of swings, like on gears, for instance, you have these 5 golfers here and these 5 golfers here. One group is a pro, one group is an amateur group. You can tell by how slowly or how quickly they move off the ball which is which. Yeah. Oftentimes we're going to see the amateurs really slow off the ball and then boom, really fast going into transition.
Yeah.
The pros are much faster, more accelerated off the ball and then slowing down in transition. It's really the opposite side of the coin there for each group.
Right, they're getting, you know, the club and the arms moving at a pace where once they start dying, right, they're far enough ahead in the race where they can start slowing down as the hip turn is finishing.
That's exactly right.
And the trunk is finishing rotation. So I know this is at first a little bit too much to think about maybe, or a lot to think about, but it'll make sense once we give you some of the drills at the end of this video. It just kind of blends it together.
It's going to really take a lot of the thought out of it.
Yeah.
So with that, we know that the hips travel a very small amount.
Yeah, they're not much at all.
The chest, about twice as much. The shoulders, a good bit more than that. And then the arms and club travel the most.
Yeah.
They need a little bit of a head start as far as acceleration goes. You can skip to your neighbor's house next door. You better take off running if you're going a mile away, right?
Yeah.
So we've got to get that moving quickly. If we don't, we're not going to arrive at the top good. It's going to get out of sequence, and then your downswing is going to start off on the wrong foot.
Yeah, so let's look at some drills, right, to fix this problem and give you some feels to take to the range so you sequence the backswing correctly, which is going to give you the best chance of sequencing the downswing correctly.
All right, Sean, let's dive into a couple really good drills here that are really going to kind of take the thought process, hopefully, out of all this, make it more athletic, make it more movement-based, so we can really just start to, because again, we see that wheels turning, those thought bubbles popping all over the place. We want that pro backswing just really carefree, getting up to the top so we can kind of slow down and settle and take off on the downswing.
I like it. So the first one I'm going to give you or give people watching is a drill that's going to allow you to get some momentum in the club early. You've probably seen variations of this if you've been watching our channel, but this is a little different way to do it. You don't really need to hit a ball this way. Set up in your normal setup. Take your right hand off and place it in front of you. Swing your left hand with the club out in front of you. You're going to swing it back. You're going to catch the club right here and finish the backswing. And stop. And what you're trying to do is get a sense that everything is pretty much coming to a stop at the same time. I'm not whipping the hips early. Right? And I'm not, and then turning the hips.
That's exactly right. It's like the body is supporting this already swinging motion of the club.
Yeah, so when doing that, don't turn your hips to face it, because a lot of you that do that are going to start whipping the hips closed.
Right.
So square, momentum, right? Momentum in the arms. You can start, as soon as you get that hits your hand, you can start the hip turn. Because your club has some motion in it.
Right.
You're not waiting too long and then having this arm lift.
I think you're really going to see success in this drill if you just let this stuff move and respond. Don't think about trying to move the hips at this point when the hand touches the club, vice versa. Just start to allow, even close your eyes in a lot of respects.
Yeah, and the great thing about this, if you get it started with momentum in the right plane of motion, which is just kind of down toward the ball, and just let that carry, you're going to have an on-plane backswing as well. Because you can't swing it this way and like you would never reroute it.
Right.
Just let it ride to the top on that same arc that you started on, ride the momentum, and you can see you get to the top about the same time. If you want to get real fancy with it, you could actually hit a ball.
Now, what I like about what you're doing and how you're doing that is you're not trying to guide this club down to your hand.
No.
You're swinging this club down.
Exactly.
Like you're putting some speed into this, knowing that you're going to be slowing it down as it gets to here.
Yeah, it's kind of what David Tom's, I worked for him at the academy. We worked together on his swing, and he's got something that he says to us a lot when we're talking to him. Like, you know, nobody would make a really bad backswing if they started from here, right?
Yeah.
It's that same thing. It's getting momentum in the club and getting the momentum started in the right direction, just riding it to the top. And he's right.
Said something like, you guys would be out of work if everybody started their swing right here.
Yeah, because you would never go that way.
Right.
You would never swing it down and suck it inside.
That's right.
Just ride that momentum. But this is a little different because I think some people will cheat and kind of go like this and then turn the hips too much and then get, early and get the club inside. So this is just a little variation which we came up with, which we think is helpful to kind of get to the top at the same time.
Yep. Now, this is a lot of, or mostly a left arm dominated start to this, right? Because we're starting square, left arm.
You're kind of catching it with the right.
Yeah. Now you can kind of bridge the gap and start to get the right hand involved by allowing yourself to catch the club up to the top. So you're swinging and catching it up here rather than down here. That's going to kind of bridge the gap between the second drill.
Yeah.
Give you the other club.
So flip 2 clubs upside down.
Now we're really going to engage both left and right side for the backswing.
So basically with this swing right here, with this drill right here, you keep the clubs about 6 inches apart. Okay, give them a little swing forward without turning your body.
Yep.
Okay, I want you to start swinging them back. And as soon as they pass where the ball would be, you start turning the rest of the body back. So keep 6 inches and then try to get to the top, maintaining the 6 inches. So forward, start swinging them, maintain the gap between them. At first, a lot of you are going to go. And you're going to go. And you're going to go.
I've actually seen guys they'll put like some tape at the grip end.
Yeah.
So it's like, has to be 6 inches down here.
Oh, yeah.
To get a feel for that. And they'll still be clanking them, but they'll at least get a feel. It's like your training wheels. Then you cut that tape off where you're really in charge of making both sides of the body work correctly at the same rate.
Yeah, and you can video yourself doing this. If you get out of sequence in hips, the clubs cross.
They're going to start crossing and clanking,
if you do
absolutely.
all arms, you're going to go this way. So you have to get the sequence, get this club swinging and blend in the body, and then you're right here. You could even, you could even follow it into the finish if you wanted to. What a great drill.
And kind of the advanced version of this is with holding the grip side. So now you got this weight really pulling on you.
Yeah, that one, some of you have the strength to do it. It'd be great. But, for all intents and purposes, if you do this one here, because it's so much lighter with the weight down here, you can start to get a feel too. It helps the wrist hinge. This one is a great one.
This is a great drill. Both of these drills are really going to kind of take the thought process out of this needs to move, this is moving too fast, this moves 7 degrees, this moves 12 degrees, all that. We can measure all that, but it's not going to do you much good when you're trying to get the club moving freely off the ball. Give these drills a try. They're going to really start to put some athleticism in your takeaway. You're going to slow down and then really ramp up the speed on the downswing. If you found this video helpful and you need more help with your consistency, we want to help you with that. Go to the first comment below this video. You'll see a link. It's our first pinned comment. There'll be a link in there. Click on that link. We'll take you to our #1 consistency drill to help you hit the ball more solidly and more consistent every time you're out on the course.